Hi, and welcome to this GDPR and system security video, which will show you all of the GDPR related features that Blink has to offer. First of all, key bit of security is that everybody who uses your Blink system should have their own unique username and password to log in with. So here I'm logging in as the practice owner. First thing to say about the patient information, which obviously is visible here now that I've logged into the system. Much of this information, including their address and telephone numbers, they're all encrypted when they're stored on the database to minimize risk of falling into the wrong hands. Also as well, the system uses HTTPS and SSL so that any data transferred between your browser and the server is done so in an encrypted fashion. Other more detailed information relating to the server, including disaster recovery options, data backups, and so on, location of the server and everything else like that is available in the Blink GDPR document, which is available on our website, blinkoms.co.uk. So first things first, here are a few system-specific GDPR-related features. First of all, we'll take the scenario of this patient, Kimberly Smith, coming into the practice and wanting to know all of everything about all of the information stored about herself on the Blink system. So in order to do that, I need to go into System Admin section and onto the Data Management Export System Data screen. When I'm here, there's a current patient button. If I click on the current patient, the system now creates me a PDF containing all of the data and information that's stored on the system about this patient. So with their starting with their basic details and contact numbers and so on, we can see everything that's the system holds, lifestyle questions, medical conditions. There's nothing in this particular case, but then under letters, we can see that they've received numerous letters, SMS messages, and so on. We can see that this patient has had several appointments stored on the system. And you can see that the appointment information does in fact store their name and contact numbers, so it's all applicable to GDPR, and the patient may want those removing. So if the patient does decide that they want all of their personal data removing from the Blink system, we would then next go into patient data, patient details. And if you scroll down to this bottom right hand corner, we currently have two options for removing a patient from the system. The first option, if I tick the patient deceased or deleted box and then click update, that will keep the patient actually on the system. It will just hide them from view and exclude them from recalls and searches and so on. And so it doesn't actually remove their data from the database. However, if I select the second option, remove patient GDPR compliant, this will anonymize the patient's record. So if I now click update, when the screen refreshes, you can see that all of the patient's key personal information has now been removed from the system. However, the patient's basic skeleton record, their ID 1013, is actually maintained on the system, so that they will still appear in sales reports and things, obviously without their personal data. Let's go back now to patient data and see that everything has been cleared. If I now select another patient where we can illustrate a few more things. Okay, so if we now go into lifestyle notes, we can see a couple of questions on this lifestyle notes page. Are you happy to receive communication for the purposes of healthcare, including recalls? This is set defaults to yes for all patients. Basically, it allows this patient to appear in recalls for clinical purposes, obviously for sending them reminders that their eyes are due for a retest. Because it's clinical information and in the patient's best interest to receive these recall reminders, that isn't applicable to the standard GDPR question of do you want to receive mail. That actually comes in the next question. Are you happy to receive promotional communication? This defaults to no for all patients. And so if we were going to use the recall system in order to send out sales material, then it would only send that sales material if the patient has, or if you, on behalf of the patient, have selected yes for that particular question. So if we now go into the recalls section of the system, I know that this patient is due for a recall in May. So I'm just going to put in dates so that this patient comes up. Okay, Deborah Smith has come up in this recall. So if I select, click next, select my letter template and the method of sending, I now have the option here to select or to confirm that this letter or message is being sent for clinical reasons such as examination recall or appointment reminder. So if I don't tick this box, it won't send a recall to Deborah Smith, but if I do, then that will go ahead and send. In this case, send it to the printer so I can print it out and post it. Whilst we're on the recall part of the system, another GDPR related feature is if I go into the recall search, I can select to list any patients who've not had any activity on the system for a certain period of time. So no activities since, and then if I enter a date, I might want to enter around 2015. 1st of January 2015. If I now click find, no patients found. If I try 2017, 1st of January, and click find, this now gives me a list of 13 patients who are on the system but haven't had any interaction with the system since the 1st of January 2017. I can now decide to bulk delete in a GDPR compliant fashion each of those 13 patients. And then the final feature that I'd like to just show you in this video is if I go to System Admin, it's the audit report or audit trail. If I go to Audit Log and download Audit Log, all the time that we've been using the system, there has been a record being stored of all of the requests that we make. And so the audit log I've downloaded here, when it opens, will give us the date, patients that you were looking at, who you were logged in as when you requested a particular action, what that action was view patient info or start a dispensing order, add a new patient, for example, and the IP address that was used to make that request. It's all stored in the audit log. The audit log doesn't store data indefinitely. It's a configurable number of days that data is stored, and that can be worked out between yourselves and Blink to get the right period of time for you. So basically that's everything GDPR and security related regarding Blink. If you've got any questions, obviously you can get in touch with us and ask us anything you need to know. Thank you.